It's time for Myth of the Week.
Alright, well, this week's myth is a kind of a funny one. I kind of stumbled across it. David kind of knows all about this one. He probably sees a lot of these comments in the different groups. Like, every time I come up with these myths, I think about actual comments that I've seen in different electrical groups. And I did have some people on this one say true, you know. And there was some people that were kind of confused about, how the actual GFCI works. And so where this myth comes from is from a lot of the home inspectors, and this is where David would kind of know into this territory. What they do is they come up, so you're able to put that GFCI in with just a hot and a neutral to ungrounded, on an ungrounded, where you have ungrounded receptacles. And then what you do is you label that no equipment ground, and then when you test that circuit, you have to use the test button. And a lot of the inspectors, they think you could use your test button on your wood head, but you actually can't, because it's not going to work, because that completes the circuit, that tests the circuit between the hot and the ground. And so that actually doesn't work in that case. But this brings up an interesting point, because if you look at like the UL standards, me and James kind of harped on this a lot. When they actually give you, when you're going to test these, you're supposed to test them monthly. Like, I know you test yours monthly over there at the Stallcup Ranch. But what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go and actually use the test button on the device. So that's the only really approved way to do it anyway. The little button on your wood head, that's actually not an approved way to test the device, because it's not giving you the actual trip. I actually have a really fancy one that I got from Klein. I ran it a few tool reviews ago, but it actually is approved, because it trips it between the hot and the neutral, and it gives you the trip time, and it gives you all the different stuff. So that would actually be an okay way. But this week, the myth is false, 100% busted. A GFCI device works perfectly fine without an equipment ground.
I only tested on Mondays.
Oh, there you go. See? Oh, just tied it right in.
Well, I decided I'd put a few little things in here, and actually dealing with 406.4. If you just want to look at some of the rules here about the methods of connection of equipment grounding conductor to your grounded type receptacles, that's all here, okay? But where you really want to get into is when you get in, and like you were talking about, looking at the replacements. And this is where you got non-grounded type. And if you go down and look at D2, that's where it goes in and talks about taking a non-grounded type receptacle and just replacing it with a non-grounded type. But if you look at 2B, that's where it gets to be non-grounded type, and it tells you it can be replaced with a GFCI type receptacle here. So this, and like you said, then it has to be marked on the cover plates, no equipment ground. So here's where that information comes from, and just ties all of this in about your non-grounding type receptacle being replaced with a GFCI type. Okay.
Yeah, and then it also shows that you're not taking an equipment ground off of that GFCI device and running it downstream either.
Right. And my favorite part is you go down and look at the exception. It says where the outlet box size will not permit an installation of a GFCI receptacle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just
Okay.
another one that ties into what I've been saying. You got to have something substantial